My brothers and sisters, tonight I want to speak to you about something very close to you. Something you see every single night. Something you think is harmless because everyone does it. But wallahi, many people are harming their hearts, their peace, and even their relationship with Allah through what they keep near them when they sleep. Sleep is not just rest. Sleep is when your soul weakens, when your defenses are low, when your heart is most influenced. That is why the Prophet ﷺ taught us very specific manners before sleeping, not culture, not superstition, guidance. And when we ignore that guidance, we pay a price, even if we don't realize it immediately. My brothers and sisters, let us slow this down and understand it properly, because many people hear words like amana and they nod, but they don't really feel what it means. An amana is a trust. It is something Allah has placed in your care, something you will be questioned about. Your life is an amana, your body is an amana. And every single night when you lie down, your soul is temporarily returned to Allah. This is not poetry, this is reality. That is why the dua before sleeping says that if Allah takes the soul, He is asked to forgive it, and if He returns it, He is asked to protect it. That alone should make us pause. Your bed then is not just a place of comfort. It is not just where you scroll, think, worry or escape. It is the final station of your day. It is the last environment your heart sits in before your soul weakens and your consciousness fades. If you truly understood this, you would never treat your sleeping space casually. You would never fill it with chaos, distraction, or things that displease Allah, and then expect tranquility in your hearts. The Prophet ﷺ taught us to live with awareness of death, not to frighten us, but to keep us conscious. When you sleep as if you may not wake up, your priorities change. Suddenly, forgiveness matters, remembrance matters, cleanliness matters. What you allow near you matters. Because if tonight were your last night, you would not want the final moments of your awareness to be filled with sin, anger, stress, or emptiness. Many people say it's just a phone, or it's just noise, or it's just a habit. But my brothers and sisters, nothing that shapes your heart is just anything. If the last thing your eyes see pulls you away from Allah, do not be shocked when your heart wakes up distant from Him. If the last thing your mind engages with is argument, lust, fear, or comparison, do not be surprised when your soul feels heavy and unsettled in the morning. The night prepares the heart for the day. A clean sleeping space is not about luxury. It is about discipline. It is about respect for the soul Allah has entrusted to you. Peace does not enter a place where chaos is invited. Protection does not descend where remembrance is absent. The Prophet ﷺ would shake out his bed, make dua, remember Allah, and place his trust in Him before sleeping. These were not rituals without meaning. They were acts of protection, clarity, and submission. Look honestly at what you keep near you when you sleep. Ask yourself a simple question: does this bring me closer to Allah, or does it pull my heart away? Does this calm my soul, or does it agitate it? Does this remind me of my purpose, or does it numb me into forgetfulness? The answer to these questions reveals more about your priorities than any words you speak during the day. Your sleeping space silently trains your heart. Night after night, it teaches you what is acceptable, what is normal, what you are willing to end your day with. And over time, that training shows up in your Iman, your focus, and your inner peace. Respect the amana Allah has given you. Begin and end your day with intention, because how you sleep is not separate from who you are. My brothers and sisters, understand this carefully, because this lesson explains a pain many people feel but cannot name. Distraction is not harmless. Distraction is not neutral. Distraction slowly erodes the ability of the heart to be present with Allah. When the Prophet ﷺ spoke about khushu, he was not only speaking about prayer, he was teaching us a state of the heart. A heart that is calm, focused, and aware of its Lord. And that state is not switched on magically at salah time. It is built throughout the day and especially at night. When you go to bed with your mind overstimulated, jumping from image to image, message to message, sound to sound, you are teaching your heart to live in restlessness. Then you stand before Allah and wonder why your salah feels rushed, empty, or mechanical. My brothers and sisters, a heart that never rests cannot focus. A heart that is constantly entertained cannot feel awe. A heart that is always distracted cannot taste peace. Many people believe they need distraction to fall asleep. They say silence is uncomfortable. But ask yourself honestly, why is silence uncomfortable? It is because the heart has been trained to avoid reflection. In silence, thoughts surface, regrets surface, questions surface, and instead of addressing them, people drown them out with noise. This may help the body sleep, but it harms the soul. Real peace is not the absence of sound, it is the presence of Allah in the heart. The Prophet ﷺ did not fill his nights with stimulation. He filled them with remembrance. He would remember Allah until sleep overtook him. That is why his sleep strengthened him rather than draining him. Today, many people wake up tired not because they slept too little, but because their minds never truly rested. Their bodies slept, but their hearts remained awake in chaos. Distraction also steals barakah. Time passes, but nothing feels fulfilling. You sleep, but you do not feel restored. You wake up, but your chest feels tight. This is the cost of ignoring spiritual hygiene. Just as the body needs cleanliness, the heart needs stillness. When you remove unnecessary noise before sleeping, you are not depriving yourself, you are protecting yourself. Khushbu in worship begins with discipline outside of worship. If you want presence in prayer, create presence in your life. Start at night, reduce what you bring to bed, allow your heart to slow down, allow silence to return. Remember Allah, even briefly, sincerely, you will find that peace begins to visit you again, not because life became easier, but because your heart became clearer. My brothers and sisters, this lesson requires honesty, not fear. Shaitan does not arrive with horns and noise. He arrives through negligence. He arrives when we stop being careful. He arrives when remembrance is replaced with habit and routine. And one of the moments he loves most is when a person is exhausted, half awake, careless, and unguarded. That moment is the moment just before sleep. Allah created us with strength during the day and vulnerability at night. That is why the Prophet ﷺ taught us protection specifically for sleep. Think about this carefully. If sleep were neutral, there would be no need for dua. If sleep were harmless, there would be no need for verses of protection. But Allah knows our nature better than we know ourselves. When the body weakens, the heart is more easily influenced. When the mind switches off, the whisper finds space. Shaitan's goal is not always to push you into major sin. His success often lies in distance. Distance from remembrance, distance from awareness, distance from Allah. When you sleep without protection, without dhikr, without intention, you slowly normalize spiritual negligence. One night does not destroy you, but repeated carelessness shapes the heart. Over time, remembrance feels unnecessary. Dua feels optional. Protection feels excessive. And that is exactly where Shaitan wants you. This is why the Prophet ﷺ taught us to recite Ayatul Kursi, to recite the Mu'awwidhat, to remember Allah before sleeping. Not because something bad will always happen if you don't, but because protection is a mercy you should never reject. My brothers and sisters, locking your door does not mean you expect a thief. It means you are wise. Spiritual protection works the same way. Anything that replaces these moments of protection is not harmless. If distraction takes the place of remembrance, Shaitan has gained ground. If noise replaces dua, he has gained access. If negligence replaces intention, he has achieved his objective. He thrives where people say it doesn't matter, because that sentence is the beginning of spiritual erosion. Do not underestimate small habits. Shaitan builds walls one brick at a time. Guard your nights. Guard your final moments of consciousness. Sleep knowing you placed yourself under Allah's protection, not out of fear, but out of awareness. Because a believer is not paranoid, but a believer is never careless. My brothers and sisters, many people talk about bad dreams, restless sleep, and waking up anxious, but they rarely connect it to what happens before sleep. Dreams are not random in the way we like to believe. They are influenced by the state of the heart, the condition of the mind, and what you feed yourself emotionally and spiritually before you close your eyes. When the Prophet ﷺ guided us regarding sleep, he was also guiding us regarding what enters our inner world. If your nights are filled with stress, noise, fear, lust, anger, or constant stimulation, do not be surprised when your dreams reflect confusion and disturbance. The heart does not suddenly become pure the moment you fall asleep. It carries whatever you placed into it during your final waking moments. A heart that is unsettled produces an unsettled inner world. That unrest shows up in dreams, in sudden awakenings, in heaviness upon waking, and in a lingering discomfort that follows you into the day. Notice something important. When people remember Allah before sleeping, forgive others, and place their trust in Him, their dreams are often calmer, clearer, or at least less disturbing. This is not magic. This is alignment. A heart that is at peace produces a mind that rests. A heart filled with remembrance is less vulnerable to fear and confusion, even in sleep. The Prophet ﷺ encouraged sleeping in a state of purity, both physical and spiritual. He taught us to clean ourselves, to settle our hearts, to remove grudges, and to remember Allah. These actions cleanse the inner state. When the inner state is clean, the subconscious is calmer. But when people sleep while emotionally agitated, spiritually empty, or mentally overstimulated, the mind continues working even after the body shuts down. That is when dreams become heavy, chaotic, or frightening. Some people say, I don't know why I keep having bad dreams. My brothers and sisters, look honestly at how you end your day. Look at what you expose yourself to before sleeping. Look at the thoughts you carry into bed. Dreams are often messages about imbalance. They are reflections, not punishments. Allah is merciful. He gives signs so we can correct ourselves. If you want peaceful sleep, prepare your heart for peace. Remove what agitates it. Calm what is restless. Remember Allah sincerely, even if briefly. Place your worries with Him before you sleep. You will notice that even if your problems remain, your nights become lighter and your dreams lose their grip on you. Because when the heart rests with Allah, even the unseen becomes less frightening. My brothers and sisters, this lesson is about correcting a misunderstanding many people have. They believe worship is only what happens on the prayer mat. They believe reward is only written when hands are raised or lips are moving with dhikr. But Islam is far deeper than that. Islam teaches us that even ordinary actions can become acts of worship when they are done with intention and awareness. And sleep is one of the clearest examples of this. When you prepare to sleep correctly, you are not merely resting your body, you are submitting your soul. You are acknowledging your weakness and Allah's power. You are saying without words, Oh Allah, I cannot protect myself tonight, so I place myself in your care. That submission, when done consciously, is worship. That is why the Prophet ﷺ taught us specific supplications and manners before sleeping. He wanted our nights to carry meaning, not emptiness. But when a person sleeps carelessly, without intention, without remembrance, without concern for the state of their heart, that same sleep becomes negligence. The hours pass, but no reward is written. The body rests, but the soul gains nothing. Two people may sleep for the same amount of time. One wakes up lighter, calmer, and closer to Allah. The other wakes up heavy, distracted, and distant. The difference is not the mattress, it is intention and discipline. Many people say, I am tired, I don't have the energy to remember Allah before sleeping. My brothers and sisters, that tiredness is exactly why remembrance matters. When you are strong, you feel independent. When you are exhausted, you realize how dependent you truly are. Sleep is a daily reminder that you are not in control. That realization, if embraced, softens the heart and humbles the soul. Think about how little effort it takes to transform your sleep into worship. A few moments of awareness, a short dua, a sincere intention, removing what distracts you, forgiving someone before you sleep, placing your trust in Allah. These are not heavy burdens, but their impact is enormous. They change how your soul experiences rest. Negligence, on the other hand, creeps in quietly. People say, I'll remember Allah tomorrow. Then tomorrow becomes a habit of delay. Over time, sleep becomes nothing more than escape. The heart avoids reflection, the soul avoids accountability, and slowly discipline fades from other areas of life as well. This is how small acts of carelessness grow into larger spiritual weaknesses. My brothers and sisters, do not underestimate sleep. It is a daily appointment with your Creator, whether you realize it or not. Make that appointment meaningful. End your day in a way that if Allah were to take your soul, you would meet Him with intention, humility, and remembrance. That is not extremism, that is wisdom. My brothers and sisters, this lesson is uncomfortable, but it is necessary. The heart is not fixed, it is trained. What you repeatedly allow becomes familiar, and what becomes familiar soon feels normal. This is how the heart learns, slowly and quietly, without announcements or warnings. And one of the strongest training grounds of the heart is what you normalize at the end of each day. If every night you sleep surrounded by distraction, noise, or things that pull you away from Allah, your heart absorbs that pattern. It learns that Allah can be postponed. It learns that remembrance is optional. It learns that reflection is unnecessary. And once the heart learns this lesson, it does not stay limited to sleep. It appears in salah, in dua, in patience, and in gratitude. You begin to rush through worship. You begin to feel restless in stillness. You begin to feel bored with remembrance. This is not because Iman disappeared. It is because the heart was trained incorrectly. Many people ask, why does my prayer feel empty? Or why don't I feel anything anymore? My brothers and sisters, feelings are not switched on by demand. They are cultivated by habit. A heart that is constantly fed stimulation struggles with presence. A heart that is constantly entertained struggles with sincerity. A heart that is constantly distracted struggles with depth. What you allow near you when you sleep sends a powerful message to your soul. It tells your heart what deserves attention at the most vulnerable moment of the day. Night after night, that message is repeated. Over time, the heart stops resisting. It adapts. And adaptation, while useful in the dunya, can be dangerous in matters of Iman. Because the heart can adapt to negligence just as easily as it adapts to discipline. Allah, in His mercy, gives us signs when the heart is drifting. He allows restlessness. He allows dissatisfaction. He allows emptiness, not as punishment, but as a signal. Something is wrong. Something needs to be corrected. But if a person ignores these signals and continues normalizing what harms the heart, the numbness deepens. That is when worship becomes heavy and reminders feel irritating. My brothers and sisters, retraining the heart is possible, but it requires honesty. You must remove what taught it the wrong lessons. You must reintroduce stillness. You must reintroduce remembrance. You must allow silence to exist again. At first, it will feel uncomfortable. That discomfort is the heart detoxing from constant stimulation. Be patient with it. Train your heart the way you want it to respond to Allah. End your nights with intention, not habit. With awareness, not distraction. With remembrance, not negligence. Because the heart always responds to what it has been taught. My brothers and sisters, this final lesson brings everything together. Many people think life is divided into big moments and small moments, and that only the big moments matter. But Islam teaches us that consistency shapes destiny, and there is no moment more consistent than the end of your day. Every night, without exception, you return to your bed. That moment is repeated thousands of times in your life. And whatever you repeat shapes who you become. The Prophet ﷺ taught us to treat every night as if it could be our last. Not to create fear, but to create clarity. When a person lives with that awareness, their choices become deliberate. They forgive more easily. They let go of grudges. They stop clinging to things that don't matter. And they begin to care deeply about how they meet Allah. Even in the smallest daily actions. Ending your day correctly is not about perfection. It is about direction. It is about asking yourself, if tonight were my last night, would I be content with how I left my heart? Would I be satisfied with what my eyes saw last? With what my mind held onto? With what my tongue last spoke? These questions are not meant to shame you, they are meant to wake you up. Every morning you wake up is a mercy. It is a chance Allah gives you that many others did not receive. But the quality of your morning is strongly connected to how you ended your night. When you sleep with remembrance, you wake with clarity. When you sleep with trust in Allah, you wake with strength. When you sleep having placed your worries with Him, you wake feeling lighter, even if the problems are still there. Resurrection is not only something that happens at the end of time, it is practiced daily. You lie down weak, unaware and dependent, and you rise again with energy, awareness and opportunity. How you treat that daily cycle reflects how seriously you take your return to Allah. A person who ends their day carelessly trains themselves to be careless. A person who ends their day consciously trains themselves to be ready. My brothers and sisters, start tonight. Do not wait for motivation. Remove what distracts you. Calm what agitates your heart. Remember Allah, even briefly but sincerely. Place your trust in Him before you sleep. And when you wake up, thank Him for returning your soul. These small acts, repeated nightly, build a life of awareness, discipline and peace. If you want a good beginning, choose a good ending. End your nights the way you would want to end your life, with remembrance, with humility, with trust in Allah. My brothers and sisters, everything I have shared with you is not about fear and it is not about extremes, it is about awareness. Allah does not burden us with what we cannot carry. He simply asks us to be conscious of Him in our daily lives, even in moments we consider ordinary. Sleep is one of those moments. You do it every day, and because it is repeated, it has power. Do not underestimate small changes. You do not need to transform your life overnight. You only need to begin ending your day correctly. Remove what distracts you from Allah. Replace it with even a few seconds of remembrance. Hand your worries to Him before you sleep. Forgive, let go, and trust. These are not heavy demands. They are gifts meant to protect your heart. If you fall short, do not despair. Allah is most merciful. He looks at intention, not perfection. What matters is that you return again and again. Tonight is another opportunity, another chance to place yourself under His care, another moment to say, "Oh Allah, I am weak and you are strong. I place my soul with you." May Allah grant us peaceful nights, protected hearts, and mornings filled with clarity and barakah. May He allow our sleep to be a source of rest for the body and nourishment for the soul. And may He return our souls to us every morning until the day we return to Him completely in a state He is pleased with.